Mrs. Elissavet Vozemberg, who I've known for years. He's a very important person in the shipping community. She's got a long-standing career in Brussels, where, to say the least, it must be a very difficult place to work in anyway, because the views there are controversial, somewhat contradictory sometimes, and it takes a lot of enthusiasm, dolmi, as they say in Greece, to be able to keep on the straight road and be able to represent this the way she does over the years. And on that note, I'd like to call her to the podium. Thank you. Hella. You okay?
No, stay please. I have mine.
Okay.
Thank you. Kalimera σας. Good morning. Good morning, distinguished guests. Good morning, Mr. Anastasiadis, Mr. President. Let me begin by talking about role models, Agapiti Marina. You are one of the kind. I have to say that, and I have to say that I'm very honored to address you today at the 9th Annual Capital Link Cyprus Shipping Forum in my capacity as chair of the Transport and Tourism Committee of the European Parliament. And it's the first time I was invited, dear Nico Bornosi. I have to say so, because you mentioned that it's from the 9th annual. It's the first time I come. It's my first invitation. This event takes place at a particularly important and decisive moment for our Union, as Europe and the European maritime sector have reached a turning point. Before I continue, I would like to thank Mr. Nicolas and Olga Bornosi, with whom I have enjoyed a long-standing collaboration and friendship, most of all, for their kind invitation to deliver the keynote remarks on this unique platform. Cyprus, beyond being my second home, as may some of you know, also feels like a natural place to have these discussions, given its long maritime tradition and its global leadership in the sector. This forum, therefore, offers a valuable opportunity to collectively reflect on the shipping sector and exchange on the challenges we face, as well as the opportunities that lie ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe in sugarcoating reality. It is crystal clear that the world around is changing, and changing fast. Europe and our maritime cluster are increasingly confronted with emerging challenges that demand our full attention and require innovative and future-proof solutions. From rising geopolitical tensions and intensifying climate phenomena to unpredictable shifts in global trade dynamics, one thing is clear. Europe must respond with one voice and without delay. We must work together now to ensure that our shipping industry not only remains competitive, but continues to thrive and lead at the global level. While we must acknowledge today's realities and the obstacles before us, it is equally important to highlight Europe's unique strengths. The maritime sector has always been a cornerstone of our Greek, Cypriot, and European identity. Our well-established maritime traditions translate into a significant advantage in technical competence and expertise, and it is imperative that we capitalize on this. Ladies and gentlemen, the figures speak for themselves. According to a CE Delft study published by the European Community of Ship Owners, the European shipping fleet is among the largest in the world, representing 35% of global tonnage. European shipping controls approximately 30% of the world's bulk carriers, 44% of container ships, 35% of tankers, and 33% of LNG carriers. These figures clearly demonstrate that Europe remains a global leader in this industry. Nevertheless, recent years have shown that other nations expand their shipping industries in an increasingly assertive manner. We have also witnessed how rapidly global supply chains and maritime routes can be disrupted and how severe the consequences can be. But this should not discourage us. It should rather motivate us, because despite growing global uncertainties, Cyprus and Greece have continued to stand as leaders and champions of global shipping. Our nations have repeatedly demonstrated their resilience to external pressures, showcased the sector's essential value to the European economy, and emphasized its direct contribution to our security, competitiveness, and connectivity. For this reason, in the face of ongoing change, I firmly believe that shipping and the broader maritime cluster must be recognized not only as an economic asset, it must be understood as a critical geopolitical asset of strategic importance for the future of our Union. Dear friends, allow me to start by stressing that no sector operates in isolation. To sustain a strong and effective shipping industry, we must ensure resilience across the entire maritime value. This includes, among other elements, a robust European shipbuilding sector, competitive port services, the widespread availability of clean fuels, and a skilled workforce equipped with both digital and green skills. For this reason, I very much welcome the European Commission's forthcoming European Port Strategy and the Industrial Maritime Strategy. Together with the recently published Sustainable Transport Investment Plan, these initiatives will help shape a maritime sector that is stronger, more competitive, and more sustainable than ever before. During the last mandate, the TRAN Committee had actively worked on a non-initiative report on building a comprehensive European port strategy, focusing on foreign influence, security, the energy transition, and the competitiveness of ports. I'm glad to see that our work had a real impact and prompted the Commission to start working on a European port strategy, which we are expecting in the coming weeks. This strategy positions ports as drivers of growth and innovation, recognizing their central role not only for shipping and trade, but also for the overall security of our Union. At the same time, the upcoming Industrial Maritime Strategy also presents a valuable opportunity to enhance the competitiveness of European shipping and better prepare it for the future. It aims to reduce dependencies, reinforce European production, and strengthen manufacturing capacity for sustainable technologies within Europe. This is not merely a matter of market leadership. It is a matter of Europe's strategic autonomy and security. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now turn to the core of my intervention, focusing on what I call the three major C's: connectivity, competitiveness, and climate neutrality. These three pillars lie at the heart of our work in the European Parliament's Transport and Tourism and Shipping, Mr. Hadjioannou Committee, and are highly relevant to today's discussion. Let me begin with connectivity. This is a defining feature of shipping and a positive force in today's interconnected world, because connectivity means unity and strength. For example, short sea shipping, including maritime transport between EU ports, plays a strategic role in maintaining the connectivity of insular, peripheral, and remote regions. As such, connectivity also has a very clear social dimension, helping ensure social and territorial cohesion across the Union. More particularly, it enables communities in remote and distant areas to access essential goods and services. Therefore, the role and importance of shipping in performing these essential functions cannot be overstated. It is a vital component of a well-functioning and cohesive European Union. Let me now turn to what I deem the most important objectives of the current mandate, namely competitiveness. It has been one of my core priorities for the transport sector since the beginning of this mandate and will remain so in the years to come. A competitive European maritime sector depends first and foremost on a genuine level playing field at the international level. In order for European shipping companies to remain competitive, non-European competitors must operate under comparable conditions. This is crucial if we want shipping companies to remain established in Europe, continue investing here, and contribute to our economic strength and strategic autonomy. Competitiveness also depends on people and skills. We must not underestimate the importance of workforce upskilling in strengthening the shipping sector, particularly at a time marked by rapid digitalization, automation, and the increasing use of novel technologies such as artificial intelligence. Here, the path forward is clear. We must invest in education and training to ensure the seafarers and maritime professionals are equipped with digital and green skills needed for the successful accomplishment of the twin transition. That is why I'm also looking forward to attending the informal ministerial meeting in Lefkosia this April, where a central item on the agenda will be securing the endorsement of the Lefkosia, I call Nicosia always Lefkosia, declaration. This political initiative places people at the heart of this industry and highlights our union's collective commitment to its seafarers. At the same time, enhancing our competitiveness is not only about additional action, it is also about removing obstacles that hinder and constrain the sector's performance. In particular, we must reduce unnecessary administrative burdens that overwhelm businesses, create bottlenecks, and undermine efficiency. Simplification is therefore one of my top priorities for the coming years and an essential step in our shared effort to restore and strengthen Europe's competitiveness. Let me now turn to the third and final C, climate neutrality and sustainable transport. Ladies and gentlemen, our work must be driven by ambition, but it must always remain grounded in realism and pragmatism. The Draghi report clearly recognizes shipping as one of the hardest sectors to decarbonize, accounting for almost 13.3% of total CO2 emissions from EU transport. This underlines the scale and complexity of the challenge before us. The recently published Sustainable Transport Investment Plan confirms that achieving climate neutrality in shipping will require unprecedented levels of investment, combining both public and private financing to bridge this gap. As demanding as this transition may be, scaling up the production of clean fuels and innovative maritime technologies in Europe is a major strategic objective. It is not only a climate priority, but also an industrial and competitiveness imperative. As policymakers, our responsibility is clear. We will support the sector through targeted incentives, effective support mechanisms, and a coherent, fair, and predictable regulatory framework at both European and international level. I would like to conclude by saying that during these critical times, strong leadership is essential. Leadership grounded in expertise, guided by ambition, and sustained by commitment. This is why it is particularly important that Cyprus has assumed the presidency of the Council of the European Union as of January 2026, my dear Marina. I have every confidence that it will rise to the occasion, deliver concrete results, and together advance our shared objective, building a shipping industry that stands where it belongs, at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and dear friends, allow me to end with this: connectivity, competitiveness, climate neutrality. Well, this may be our greatest challenge yet, but if approached with ambition and dedication, it presents an opportunity we must seize to ensure that our shipping industry continues to lead. So let me assure you that delivering on these three pillars is of utmost importance to the Transport, Tourism and Shipping Committee of the European Parliament. As such, I look forward to working closely and systematically with all of you throughout this mandate to turn our shared vision into reality. That is our duty. That is our commitment. Thank you very much.